that can do that makes them be masculine. You know, we cannot continuously afford to divide, to have women and men be blended into the same thing. Our families are dying because of this. This is why we cannot keep our families together. We need to understand that there is a nature to femininity and a nature to masculinity. And two men cannot hold together a heterosexual relationship, period. So people are going to have to choose. Are they going to be in feminine energy or masculine energy? And I know this is not a usual dialogue. And I know that people find this to be confusing in some sort because of the way that we have been trained over the past few decades. But in order to have harmony in a heterosexual relationship, one person needs to stay in masculine energy, and one person needs to stay in mostly feminine energy, period. That's it. Now, I have interviewed 1,000 extremely healthy men who come from generations of the same thing. And without saying a word in any language, there were masculine behaviors and feminine behaviors. And if we want to find and have this harmony within our American relationship, we are going to have to do it. I sincerely hope you get booked, Stanley.
Well, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Howard, for calling in tonight. And
thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Don't hang up because we got about 6 more callers, and there may be some other things, you know. And I would love to be a fly on the wall tomorrow in class or the next class that y'all have, because I know it's going to be fascinating. Big shouts out to everybody who's in Howard's class and Brother David's class up there at Maryland Eastern Shore. Big shouts out to y'all. Next caller from the...
Yeah, that's Morgan State. That's Morgan State.
Okay, Morgan State. Pardon me. I ain't want to be disrespectful. Thank you. Big shouts out. Big shouts out to Morgan State.
Thank you so much.
Next caller from the 248-630. Please, can I have your name and where you're calling from, please? Caller from...
I'm just listening.
Okay, thank you so much. Where are you calling from? Just so I'll know.
I'm calling from Taylor, Michigan.
Yay! Thanks for calling from Taylor, Michigan.
Thanks.
All right. Next caller from the 314-814. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Yes, this is Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hello, how are you, Rob?
Hi, Rebecca.
You all are doing an amazing job. One thing I wanted to say is, you know, the guy that just got off the phone that had he's been taking an interpersonal communications class or whatever. You know, one thing that people aren't recognizing, and this is personal, the thing that people aren't recognizing is the fact that even if you look at the symbol, the picture of yin and yang, there is a dot of each. Excuse me, there's a dot of yang in the yin and yin in the yang. They don't give respect to that. You're going to have men who are going to cook and women who are going to have something else to do at that time. She may be cleaning the house. She's still in her feminine energy. She may be tending to the children. She may be doing something else. If I'm in a relationship with a man and he likes to cook, that's fine. I would prefer to cook, but if he likes to cook, that's fine. In a regular, normal, feminine, me being feminine, him being masculine, to me, this is what I think would be healthy. If he likes to cook, I appreciate that, but he respects the fact that I still like to be in my position, in a feminine position, because
Right.
Because what you're saying is true, and it's scientifically proven. There is a particular chemical that's released when we cook, when we're in our feminine energy. There's
Right.
a particular, and men, they may love to cook, But the point is, if they know that we love to cook and that makes us happy and this and that, that's their place to do that, to step back and let us do that. Yeah, so, I mean, for a man to, and it's just so weird to hear, and it's nothing personal from me to any of the men or whatever, but it's just so weird to hear these men not enjoy women being in a feminine place. I just don't get it.
Nobody said we didn't enjoy it. I think we can all have levels of enjoyment.
Well, you know,
it's not that we don't enjoy it. I enjoy it if she cooks for me. So that's a wonderful thing. But yeah, I enjoy that as well. So does that mean that we're not supposed to like football because I like football and football's a national thing? No. She just enjoys it.
Well, this is what I'm saying when I say that. Let me put a little clarity to it. They don't appreciate, I'll say that way, or maybe I said it incorrectly, I apologize. It's like they don't appreciate the fact that, like for instance, I'll give a perfect example. There was a post that was on your page for, I think it was last week, and in fact one of your friends, he inboxed me and he's like, "Hey Rebecca, did you see what was going on Rose page?" And I'm like, "No, because I'm in school with him." So I went on there, and this one guy, he couldn't appreciate the fact that Ro had mentioned the fact that men equate sex to appreciation. He pushed it down, and I don't get that. So what I did was I asked my brother if it's true, which I'd already basically know, but I asked him because I wanted to actually know from a man how he felt. He says, "Yeah, that's how we equate that, but that does not mean that you all aren't nurturing, that you all aren't nurturers. That doesn't take anything away from that. That does not. I mean, I just don't get the. It just seems so weird to me that some men just don't like to hear the things that they're supposed to be, that they're composed of. I don't understand that.
Here's the thing. Go ahead.
I have to believe this. I like my role as a man. I also understand that there are certain things that everybody enjoys across the board, and I would like nothing better to be able to cook. I'm not married, but if I was, I would love to be able to cook with my wife. Let's cook together. That's nurturing each other. Sharing in something that we collectively like. See, we've got so fixed on the identifying and staying the course of these gender roles, and yet the paradigm is shifting around us, and we're not shifting. And so I can applaud a woman who cooks. I also built my business. I also know women who can do work as well, who are creative. Maybe cooking may not appeal to their creative side. Maybe they enjoy helping lay hardwood floors because they're creative. I don't know. There are men who share in the rearing of their children, who are equally as nurturing as mothers. Maybe not to the extent of mothers being behaviorally designed to be nurtured, and men probably have to learn how to do that. But the fact of the matter is, nurturing is more than just identifying with the appreciation of sex or otherwise. It's nurturing. When a father takes his daughter out on a date, he's nurturing her. He's nurturing the things we do. We nurture things. We water it. We plant it. We give the nutrients and everything that it needs to grow and to prosper. Women are the only ones that can do that. And there are men, I think, who take great pride in embracing the nurturing part of themselves because they want to be an active participant in the growth of that person, that child. I left corporate America to go into academia. And I do it with great passion. There's nothing more rewarding than when I see a student who gets it. There's nothing more rewarding when I watch a student walk across that stage and get a college degree and know that in some small part, I help nurture the development of that person. That doesn't make me less of a man or gives me and saying that that's only a woman trait. No. You see, that's the thing. It's in these silos. We have to start figuring out how do we come together and share the collective of who we are. and not just identify ourselves on these archaic roles that, you know, aren't going anywhere. We keep doing the same things. I think there would be more harmony, more health in a relationship if people were a bit more vulnerable and willing to accept other roles that were described as gender specific.
Okay, but sir, are you married?
No, I'm not. I was.
How long were you married?
That's my ex-wife and I are the best of friends. I don't know if the time has anything to do with it. We were young, so at that point when I was married, we were young. So I think there were our ideas. We hadn't grown to the point where we were able to move past the idea of compromise and flexibility and things like that. So there's a recognition. I recognize fully why things didn't work.
No, I mean, how long were you married?
Some years.
How many years?
Some years.
It generally takes 7 to 10 years for a man to realize that his wife has emasculated him too far.
Well, that's not. No, let me give you.
Every man doesn't come to this realization. Every man doesn't come to this realization until there's a certain amount of damage done. That's it's
well, how can that be damaging? Let me give you another. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you, do you think that, you know, this is just an age-old argument whether it's nature or nurture, right? And whether the things that we do are innate or we learn to do them, or do we just adapt based on our circumstances? I think a lot of it is we learn to adapt. We adapt.
I do not agree. I do not agree.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. When it was time to eat, when we didn't have any weapons, did we not have to adapt and figure out and use ingenuity and be resourceful to figure out, okay, I see this piece of meat over there that I really need to eat. I need this warmth for my wife because it's cold. Okay, so but you can't refute the thing about it is one thing about science, you know, you really can't, unless you have sound research to contradict, then it's not too much we can disagree, but the fact of the matter is we are resourceful, we do employ ingenuity to get things done. My mom had me at a really young age, 15. Single mom. I had to learn how to be responsible. I had to make sure that she was okay. I had to make sure my brother and my sister were okay. It was something that innately kicked in because it's, you know, and you can argue about the fight or flight. That's true. We learn either we fight or we fight. And
yeah,
those who are able.
We're not in a discussion about how to survive.
We're in a discussion on roles. And so those roles, okay, because I mean you made reference to the roles in masculinity and femininity and what have you. But again, these are roles that either they're innate or they're learned.
Okay,
so
this discussion
something had to happen to make you.
This discussion is not about how to survive or to have a mediocre marriage or family. This is not the purpose of the book. No, wait, I'm not finished. This is not the purpose of the book, nor is this the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show and this conversation is how to exceed past good enough. So when you are referring to how you had to make certain decisions based on survival, that is, we already know how to survive. We're trying to do better than survive. We have been surviving a relationship. Is it a relationship about survival? We are supposed to prosper.
No, you survive in a relationship, right?
You can settle for surviving and being good enough. But guess what? Good enough is not good enough. Because you know
I think what you do is you take words and you add your own meaning to them because you can't say, wait. The Bible doesn't equate that you're selling with good enough. No, that doesn't mean selling for good enough. Survival
means survival. Survival means survival. And if you're going to exceed past a level of surviving, you cannot operate as a person who is just surviving. You can't do it. It doesn't work. If you have clean food, clean water, and food at your disposal, and you are operating as a person who can't find healthy food to eat, it's unnecessary. You're living in a state of survival, which is unnecessary for your surroundings. So when you compare the behavior associated with survival, it has nothing to do with the book or the show.
Okay, but I mean, you're making points that are outside of the book. I mean, the points that you're making are universal points that you just have to put in the book. Your information had to come from some place that you put in the book. And the references that you're making are references that are wide references to
My book was not written to help people to learn how to survive in America.
It's not about, see,
my book was written
I'm going to go another point out there. What men say and what women hear.
Excuse me. My book was written to help people learn how to have extremely loving, harmonious marriages.
But that's from your viewpoint based on gender roles, specific gender roles. Right?
It's not based on my
right? It's not
based on my point at all. It's based on the behavioral patterns of 1,000 extremely loving families who come from generations of the same. And if you don't want to accept all of those very similar answers and behaviors as a part
I'll accept it. Let me just ask you, what was your research methodology? You took 1,000, what did you survey? What was your research?
Sir, it's just not going to
What was your methodology? Because if I can replicate that, if I can't, then it kind of just shoots your research. And so I want to know, because you're leaning on it, so I want to know what was your research method.
With all due respect, this is not going to work if we're talking at the same time.
I remain quiet for like 40 minutes and just listen.
Okay, so in order for me to get the best behavior of the most harmonious relationships based on generations of harmony, several generations of harmony, and based on the fact that their behaviors unknowingly were almost identical from 16 different countries of people who don't speak the same language and don't know each other. If you don't want to see that as a study worth knowing, that's not.
I didn't say it wasn't.
I'm just
this is what I'm saying. You're missing words with me, because I never said that. I didn't say it wasn't worth studying. I asked you specifically, what was your research methodology? Because I'm curious. I didn't say it wasn't worth. I didn't say it was worth research. I never said that. I merely asked, what was your research methodology? Because I'd be interested in how you came up with your data and how you're using your data to justify both your book and your stance on your position. Because what happens, you can't say anything. I'm just asking. So I don't want you to take what I'm saying and misconstrue it and make it seem like I'm just shunning your research. I asked a specific question, and that was, what's your research methodology? Because I'm interested in knowing how you came up with your data, and then I can say, oh, okay, we didn't pay that. All right. So I can't make a decision on whether or not it was good research. Because number one, I don't know your methodology. Number two, I don't know if I can replicate it, and I haven't done that. So there's no way for me to say that.
Okay, so can I answer the question?
And we have other callers, so you have to make it a short answer. We still have callers, so give them a short answer.
And I did try to answer this before, but basically, the purpose was first to gain the most harmonious behaviors and to record those within a manual so that we could find out what the actual daily behaviors were and how men and women chose each other to be in a relationship with each other. Now, in order for me to interview any man whose responses were included into my research, his wife had to be openly affectionate toward him. And the reason for this is because women cannot continuously fake open affection to a person that they don't like. Women can fake sex with a man that they don't like, but women cannot continuously fake open affection towards a man that they don't like. That was one of the first requirements. The other thing was, from the opinion of the children and from the wives, I needed to know how they felt about father, his leadership skills, and the harmony going on within the family. If that same thing was not present in the generation before and the generation before that, those families were not included in my study. And most important to understand, I asked very specific questions. I had very specific behavioral clues included as far as how they describe their daily lives. And it's very important to understand that out of 1,000 men that I interviewed and their families, almost 100% of them gave me the exact same answers, scenarios, and lifestyle. Almost 100%. No, it's not impossible.
That's almost impossible research. You have to have a very different.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, I'm
going to tell you why. Because masculinity, turns out, is a ritual that if a man is able to lead in his family and the woman is not the leader of the household, that things are being done from the perspective of that man's instinct. And because the household and the family are being led by that man's instinct, it creates a situation where, yes, certain behaviors were automatically, humanly taking place within these families. When the woman is the leader of the household, that's when you get variation. Because it's based on emotion. But when the man is the leader of the household for generations, not only is he leading his household based on instinct, but he's also copying the behaviors modeled to him by his parents, his grandparents, and his great-grandparents. So it's not impossible. It is a science when it comes to masculinity. And to make it even more clear, these men unknowingly were spending 40 hours a week with the wives. They didn't know. I did the log. My team helped me do the log. And they were spending 40 hours a week with their wives, unknowingly on average. This was the same when you look at India, when you looked at France. If I found this particular type of family with this particular type of dynamic, yes, the behaviors were almost exactly 100%. That's why the book has been so successful to people, because it's based on human nature. But when you have the woman as the leader of the house, it's based on emotion, and everything goes off track. So, in order to have you be clear, I need to say all of that, but there is more. Not enough time, as Coach Khayr has already told us, but there is more. And I urge you, the book, to look at the whole picture.
I will.
Because Ray Rice need the book. That's why we here. Ray need the book. Ray need the book more than all of us, because he just lost 5.6 million. Well, if you can't help Ray get that
he needs a crisis plan.
He do. Ray needs some coaching, and he needs a crisis plan. That's why I brought all of us together on the show. The show is for the family. I can't send Ray no money, because the real problem is that, and I want to say this. Here's a real problem. You know what? The white police officer that shot and killed Mike Brown has anonymous people supporting him in the tunes of $1 million economically. But black people, especially black women, or whoever saw the videotape, will not give Ray Rice a dime to help him. He's still living. He can ask for forgiveness of his sins. He could even go to court And let's say if he went to jail and did 6 months, but black people won't give him a dime to support him, whereas this white police officer who we know shot and killed an unarmed black 18-year-old has not even been indicted by a grand jury yet because they say it's under investigation, has fled the state of Missouri, has over $1 million that has been anonymously given to him in order to sustain his lifestyle. Now that's a big problem right there. I just wanted to throw that in there because that needed to be said right now, that even though the media is trying to lynch black families and Ray Rice, we give them the ammunition. So I don't believe that he was a punk because he punched her. I do believe that, excuse me, Ro, because you know I'm going to say a curse word. I believe he was a dumbass. He wasn't a punk. He was a dumbass because with all that athletic ability, they so physical. They sit in the locker room and talk about going to the club and what kind of clothes they gonna wear and stuff like that. But they got over $50 million of revenue coming in a sport dominated by 90% black athletes, and ain't nobody talking about no business. And me and Ro will get on the phone and talk 10 minutes and be trying to figure out how we can make 10 grand. I'm sure me and David can get on the line. I know you probably hang out with your Omega Psi Phi brothers, 2 or 3 of them, and y'all say, shit, how can we put some money together and make something happen? But we have these professional athletes who sit there and get blinded, and I'm not going to say it's the slave master's fault. Well, you know this, well, you know that. No, because it's too many examples of athletes who do know what to do with their money, even if they are in the minority. It's people's ego. It's people's ego, and it's from what they get from their households. They see poor leadership in the father telling them he got to rush to get that money. You better leave school early, boy, so you can go get that money. He's not even trained. He's not even mentally mature yet. And then he gets in these jams like this, and he starts losing out. Now I got to get back to the call line. Caller from the 773-653. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from? Caller from the 773-653. Your mic is open. All right, going once, going twice. See you later. Caller from the 951-374. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hello, Coach. Welcome to my city, man. Big Ben, how you doing, sir?
Ain't nothing to it, Big Ben. We got on but a few minutes, so I ain't mean to keep you to the end, but I know you always have some good dialogue for us, so give me something and hit me across the head.
No, real quickly, like the gentleman that I am, hello to the other caller. The aspect of, the aspect of people understanding masculinity and feminine energy and what that entails, it goes based on gender and assignment. Like we always say, Coach, there's levels to this. And in order for you to choose back to that level, you have to identify where you're at to, in essence, go on to that archetype. We have a lot of arguments about Rose's research, in the sense that Rose saying that women are feminine by design. Okay? By design, by their makeup, their wiring. Men are masculine by their design. However, how that person puts the energy and effort into that and knowing how to relate and fit the proper connection with the opposite sex is what is lacking, and that's why this show is so important. When Rose talking about optimal achievement, that's saying that suffering is not good when you can do better and you have things in proper alignment. When a man understands who he is and a woman understands who she is, and when they come together, there is no reason for them not to excel. And unfortunately, we are not getting, we're not doing the research to find out who is healthy, male or female, and why we see all these examples of things not being productive. We talk about culture. We examine these things, however, we don't in essence refine them, but that's why this show is very important. We refine these things and we understand we have too many examples of things not working, but we have to find systematic things to do an assessment, evaluate, and then go and plan to be successful, be prosperous. This is a great example, like you said, of a conflict of two unhealthy people and how it got spread across and how it's going to have a trickle-down effect on how people see black and female relationships. This one 30-second clip is going to trickle down in American society saying that, hey, all black women are this way, all black men are this way, and not looking at the fact that the conditions that are prevalent with the black community, like Roland, another one, are saying that, you know, consider yourself black and not your nationality and your lineage. That's on some others, which is great because it brings into the discussion that we are more than what some other culture or other system is defining us as. And I always say, as adults, we have to, like you said, Coach, take care of home, assess where we're at, and in essence, go through these conversations and develop and be more than what we currently are. Once again, thank you guys for your discussions. I thank you for the aspect of putting this out there. I got a couple friends listening to this show, and hopefully it's been beneficial to them. And continue on the radio show and the book. Hire me, Coach, because we got to make some of that money, man. Let me playing.
Nah, you know that's right. You know that's right. Ro got to go ahead and get you on some. Don't worry, Ro. I'm going to talk to Ben while we out here. While I'm out here in LA. We're gonna put something together.
You guys have a good night. Thank you as always. Appreciate you.
Thanks for calling
Thank
in.
you.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right, next caller from the 678. 678 365. Your microphone is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please? Hello, caller from the 678 365. Your mic is wide open. Hello? All right, we're going to come back to you. Caller from the 773. I see you got your hand back up. Are you back in the building with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Gerald from Chicago. Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. I got you, Gerald, loud and clear. How you doing today?
Yeah, all right. Yes, very interesting show. Hello, Ro. How you doing?
Hi.
Yeah, I got your book and everything. I love that book. It's very, very informative. But I was just listening to everyone tonight, and to me, some of the callers and some people, they try to read too much into something that's simple to understand. They try to take what you bring to them and try to dissect it all the way down to try to make it fit what they feel it should fit. It's not about what we feel. It's about what is, okay? And basically, you can't, just like you say that the roles are the masculine and the feminine, the problem is a lot of men don't even know how to be masculine, you know, let alone the women being feminine. That's a problem right there. I've dealt with that. But a lot of men don't know how to be masculine. And just like some people say, well, I'll do this too. No, do what you do. Don't do what she does, do what you do. Let her do what she does. And you do what you do as the man. And it'll click. But see, people keep trying to, they fall for this, society. I don't care about what society says. In other words, you telling me you too much of a sheep to know what's right and wrong. Right. That some weirdo in some lab in some school tell you how it's supposed to be. And if you think outside of that, even if it's true, oh, how dare you? No. They need to understand that for eons, men are men and women were women. And when their roles were defined, they got along. They got along well. Now, anywhere, even when you do know your role, people are going to act crazy if they're going to act crazy. You can't stop that unless they want to stop acting crazy. But it has nothing to do with your role, see? And like you say, it goes down to this social engineering. You don't have to listen to him. You can do your own thing. That's why I hate this thing about I don't need a man, I'm independent. Well, if you're independent, then why am I here? If you don't need a man, then why are you bothering with me? Evidently, you telling me I'm not needed. Right. You know, if you don't need me, why should I be there?
She didn't mean it, though. When she said it, Gerald, look, Gerald, listen, women get emotional, and they say stuff they don't mean, and then they come back and be like, you know I'm emotional. And men got to...
But then when you listen to them, you say, like you say, men should listen and talk. Okay, I'm listening. You don't need me, and then I don't show up anymore. Now you're mad. So
right.
You got to stop that. You don't need me stuff. Because think about it like this: if you're dealing with a heterosexual couple, and you got a man and a woman, and say like a woman gets mad and y'all fall out and have a little problem with your relationship with your marriage, you might separate for a minute or whatever. First thing a woman says, I don't need no man. I'm sick of men. I don't need no man. Much as a man might get into it, you would never hear a man say, I don't need no woman. He ain't gonna say that. Right. Unless he like men. But if he likes women, he ain't gonna say, I don't need no woman. I'm independent. I don't need no woman. If I hear a brother say, I'm independent, I don't need no woman, he don't like women. He likes me. Right. So that's not natural. You know? Nope. And all this other stuff, the other person talking about, oh, what's your, how did you go into it? See, that's another problem. I didn't like that. And it's nothing personal if you're still on the line. I didn't like that because you're taking your interview skills or way of looking into a subject by the way he was taught by the instructor to tell you how to do it. Right. Because somebody in class that's your instructor or your professor tell you to do it, that don't mean anything. Great people do things that nobody else do. That's what makes them great. If they do what everybody else do, you ain't nobody. You're just somebody in class. Right. Okay? But all of this, you know, stuff, and it's drilling people's heads, and they can't get over it. And I think what's a part of all that too is I guess you call it baggage. They bring, soon as somebody have a bad situation and they leave it and they get with another person, they bring that stuff with them. And it destroys what could be nice. They kill it off before it could grow because they bring that stuff with them. Right. And you can't bring that with you. I've been through bad things just like any other brother. But I don't bring that to the next one. I give her the benefit of the doubt to how is this going to be. You can't bring that. And see, a lot of people, they bring all this stuff and they allow people they know to get into their head, yeah, you need to do this, you need. No, you have to live your life. You have to deal with your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your brother. You got to deal with that. And quit eating. I've seen a million times. Women will try to take a man out of his masculinity by, if he's doing something that he should do, oh, I can do that. No. I've had women get mad because I opened the door for them. I can open the door myself.
I mean, in the defense of women, we have to understand that women, we don't, you know, we're being raised in this country to be completely confused as what we are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So when women say that they can do it by themselves, they're not trying to emasculate a man, although that's what's happening. Yeah. They just believe, and a lot of women they argue me down. They're like, men want us to be independent. Men want us to be independent of them. Men want us to not need them. I'm like, that is the opposite of truth.
Exactly.
That's the opposite of truth. But I can tell you clearly that women believe this to be the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Just like they believe, because they watch too much TV, that men want them to wear too much makeup.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Ro. All right, Ro. You setting it off over here with the makeup now. Okay, now these ladies are gonna be talking about the women's makeup now. Y'all, Coach Khayr ain't got
just
nothing.
like,
I ain't got nothing to do with
just
it.
like, okay, so like from a man's perspective, you can go like walking down the street and see a lot of women in the summertime moving to and fro. You got your women who dress real provocative for attention. They want a man to see them. They're nice looking, but they dress a certain way so you can see them. But then you have women who are dressed, how you say, more conservative. They're still beautiful women, but they're more conservative. Now, the natural man, he'll kind of be attracted to that conservative type woman because it's like he's looking at the woman and not the sex parts.
Well, according to my research, all of the men are going to look at all of the women.
Well, yeah, we're going to look at them all, you know.
They're going to look at all the women, but they're just going to categorize some women as sexual material and some women as long-term commitment.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's what I was trying to say. I'll say it like that. I agree with you.
It's okay. I am the voice for men. Like we said earlier, men are not as verbally talented as women. Men have other talents. It's my job as the author of Man Leads to be able to explain what all of the men have told me collectively and to help men express themselves.
But I'll tell you this, I've been through this a couple of times. Like you say, that part where you explain how men don't verbalize. I can say I'm kind of guilty of that because at certain times, like if you're in the middle of a disagreement, a lot of times we just get quiet because you just don't want to fight. You just don't want to argue. And they want to talk. But even though they want to talk, it's not going well right now. And like men are shut down sometimes. Like, I don't want to hear. And see, that's another thing because a lot of times when you do try to keep going talking, it just gets worse sometimes. And a lot of men learn how to, well, I got to be quiet and let her calm down because I can't talk to her when she gets like this. And that's a lot of the problem right there. That kills communication.
Right, and if you notice in the book, it's very clear to women that they need to be fair, verbal communicators with the men. So men really need to get this as a prenuptial or nuptial or relationship agreement because a woman in a fair conversation with a man is supposed to ask or pose one thing at a time if she's going to be fair. Because in the book, he's already going to know that that's considered fair. So if she's going to be fair, she needs to pose one question, not add to it, not change it, and not interrupt.
Yeah. And so, but like you said, I appreciate it because basically, from my knowledge, you're the only one out here that's explaining this. I hadn't, I would call myself a reading type of person, but you're the only one out there who's explaining this. Even just even going to the subject, I'll say it like that.
Well, you know what? I want to publicly apologize to everyone that I have to interrupt because we're on the radio. I think that women, if you were my man, I would not be interrupting you.
Oh, yeah.
I would not interrupt anybody who was, if you were my man, I would not interrupt you. But because we're on the radio, that causes a situation where I enforce.
Oh, I understand. That's okay.
But I advise women to get the books so that they can know exactly how to communicate with a man in a fair, effective way. And this fairness creates trust and respect. And that's huge. Men need this to feel this feeling of trust, safety, and respect when it comes to communicating with their women. A lot of women believe that men don't want to communicate verbally. And although it's not a man's strength to be a great, talented verbal communicator, men still want to talk. But men don't want to talk to women who are unsafe to talk to. And I hope all the women listening hear this now. Because if a man does not have one safe woman to talk to through his woman, he has to go find one.
Exactly. because, you know, I know I have a lot of friends, a lot of brothers, they'll have a wife or girlfriend, and a lot of times they might be going through problems. Sometimes they want to talk. And so I sit there and listen to them, go through stuff. And a lot of times they go get another woman, not because they don't love their woman, because she kind of pushed them away.
Yeah.
And the next woman might give him what he's looking for so far as treatment. It ain't even about sex half the time. It's about the way she treats.
It becomes about the sex after the treatment. That's what we need to all
understand. Yeah.
We need to all understand that there's steps to this. And men are very conscious that they need women in order to be whole. So if a man is not feeling whole and being fed properly through his woman, he still needs a woman to properly feed him, and he will get one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I like a woman that know how to cook too. So, like you said, can't cook. I don't need her. Yeah, I'm from New Orleans. If you can't cook, I ain't got that.
I'm from New Orleans too.
All right now.
Thanks, Gerald.
Downtown.
Gerald, I gotta
Right.
I gotta get to my next caller before we get out of here. I appreciate you for calling in. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
All right.
Caller from the 215-868. Your mic is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
This is Isis calling out of Philadelphia.
Hi, Isis.
How are you both tonight?
Doing very well. We only got about 2 minutes,
Very
Isis.
good.
So give me.
Okay, well, 2 minutes. I had some things I would like to say. However, I'll just make it short and sweet. I will be in Atlanta on Saturday. Where can I walk up and get the book?
Send me an email, Isis. Oh, yeah,
I tried to do that. I sent you that, but I guess I'm not doing it right because I didn't hear from you.
ROKI@me.com.
ROKI?
Yes, ROKI@me.com. M as in Mary E.
Okay. Will do.
Yep. I look forward.
Yes, everything is so on. Make real sure that I told my future son-in-law that I would not allow him to marry my daughter until both of them had the book, read it, go through it together. Otherwise, I'm telling him, because I know her, I'm not going to allow you to marry her.
Good move. Make them sign up to him.
Yes. And I know they're going to hear this because he's listening. He's listening.
This has become a very popular wedding gift.
Yes. It has to be done. We need some peace in this world.
All right. Thank you, Isis.
Appreciate y'all. Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you. Peace. All right. One more caller from the 678. Your mic is wide open. Can I get your name and where you're calling from? I was just backtracking. All right. Ro accidentally just got dropped off, but we only got like another minute left. So please go to manleads.com. Manleads.com. You can follow her on Instagram, man_leads. Check out the book ASAP. Go to Amazon. Just type in Man Leads. It's like $16. Great investment. You can get the digital download for like $10. And if you're interested in some coaching with Coach Khayr, please get ready to sign up for the next Moon Magic course, moonmagic28.info. We're going to be starting off the year. That's right, September 21st is the beginning of the year. If you know anything about astrology, we're going to be starting off big once again with relationships, all right? Having power couples. So if you're interested in forming a power couple and being coached by Coach Khayr using Moon Magic 28, please visit the site, drop your name, and I'll shoot you back an email and give you all the information. Video coming soon. New Moon Magic starts on September the 15th next week. All right? So I do appreciate each and every one of you for coming out tonight, listening to us. Ray Rice, we love you, baby. Janae Rice, we love you. And all you reporters out there writing about Ray Rice and Janae Rice and you don't know them, shut your face. You don't know them. And you want to throw them under the bus and you want to say how Janae should feel and she's the victim and her husband has her blinded and all that. put a sock in it, because you don't know either one of them, okay? I'm sure they haven't done any interviews with any of you yellow journalists, all right?
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Bam. 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 Hey, that's my thoughts. I'm sticking to it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'll holler at y'all. Ray Rice, we love you. Somebody send them this video. Get at me. Just CoachKhayr.com. I look out for you, because I know you ain't got the budget for it right now, but I can help you out, get back on your feet, all right? And if I can, I'll point you in the right direction where you can get some healing. Peace.